which was 837.5. And I was like, how, I could not fathom how this man could fucking do this. You know what I mean? And look so great. So to me, he looked like the ideal powerlifter. You know, he had an awesome physique and he was really strong. So I started copying. He had, actually, it was an article that had Stan Efferding's deadlift routine.
Oh, nice.
And it showed all the warm-up sets leading up to 800 and something pounds.
It'd be great if we could find that issue.
Yeah, so I decided I'm going to follow it and kind of go up as far as I can, you know, and then I got stronger and stronger, and finally, I got a coach. This is much later though, and the coach kind of guided me a little bit more as far as like how to put a program together. So what I was doing was reading a lot about powerlifting and strength training and kind of making my own program from there.
Right. So I mean, if you gave anyone advice, it'd be the same thing, right? Get a coach, get someone that knows, right?
Yeah, get a coach. Definitely get some guidance of some sort. You know, I'm not saying run out and get, you know, the highest, the one that's, you know, making everyone elite athletes in the sport or anything like that, because it's fucking expensive.
Yeah, just get someone that knows more than you, right?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, honestly, just do some reading.
Yeah.
You know,
research.
yeah, there's a strength book. I forgot what it was called, but I looked at it, and it had the ideology, or what is called linear progression, and which is like the basis of most strength progress. You know, so I kind of followed that guideline, which actually when I write my programming now for people, it's still kind of along those guidelines, which is everybody's, and they just make their own twist to it, basically.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just started getting stupid strong. Now the sky's the limit. I'm not stopping now. You know?
Right. Well, that actually leads right into the next one. I had someone ask, and specifically, are you going to beat Dr. Deadlift in pulling 1,000 pounds?
Nice.
I don't know. Yeah.
So Dr. Deadlift is he's 23, 24?
Yeah, 23, 24-year-old.
His name's Kaler Woolham. He's from Texas. I actually had him on my podcast too. He's a great kid. We talk a lot of shit to each other. It's
yeah,
cool, but,
that's why I was like, man, I don't know if I want to ask this.
I think, so Kaler outpulled me. I have the American record in my weight class. Kaler Woolham has the overall highest American deadlift ever, and he's only 220 pounds.
Jeez.
His leverages are just insane. He's just awesome. And, you know, he's a sumo deadlifter, so they say he's cheating because his legs are like in a split stance.
Sure, yeah.
But you know, he's kind of came to the scene more popular right away, basically in the last year and a half, 2 years or so, when people saw him pull 900 pounds, this small guy.
He sounds like a freak.
He is. He is. He's a good kid. He's a manager of a grocery store. Let's throw that out there. My job is way cooler.
But Kaler did start powerlifting in high school.
Yeah.
So even though he's so young,
he's got years on him.
He's got more years like in competition than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he could start at what, like 15 or something, or how young?
Something
like that. Yeah. And in Texas, you know, Texas is like big on everything. If they had ultimate frisbee, they'd be packing stadiums. Yeah. So Kaler, I think this might be the year that I pass him up. We're all gunning for 1,000-pound deadlift. And if he ever listens to this, fuck you, Kaler. But we're all gunning. There's 3 of us currently gunning for 1,000-pound deadlift. It's only in powerlifting, in raw powerlifting, it's only been done one time. It's by a guy who's actually a strong man. His name is Benedict Magnuson. He pulled 1,015 as a super heavyweight, so he was over 400 pounds.
Yeah, big.
So all 3 of us would be the smallest people to do this. Kaler being the absolute smallest. The other one is, his name is Yuri Belkin, who's sponsored by 8 Man Strong with me, but he's from Russia. And that kid's another freaking. He's pulled 975.
Yeah, they're strong over there.
Yeah. Something in that vodka.
Something in the water.
But I think, so from what I understand, Kaler's having a lot of knee problems right now, and it's affecting his lifts. It doesn't look like it on Instagram, but I've had some personal talks with him, and I think it's bugging him to the point where he might have to take a step back for a little bit. And he was talking about focusing more on his bench press right now, but my goal is to I want domination. That's what I want. I want to win everything.
Yeah.
That's the mindset you got to have, though. You know, is they always say, like, the people that are the best is because they, like, that undying want to be the best.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm doing everything I can to do that day in and day out. You know, there's no slacking in the gym. You know, there's no bullshitting around. I mean, when it's time to fuck around in between sets or whatever, but when it's go time, the mood changes, the music changes, the attitude, the environment, you know, and you're just thinking about everything that you want to do, and it's what's crazy is that years ago, when I thought I would never be at this level, and now I'm so close to being even higher level.
Higher than you could imagine, right?
Yeah, you're talking about one of the, you know, the highest raw totals in history, and like some of these guys that have been on top for so long, I'm like starting to edge into their territory of some of the strongest men in the world. You know?
Yeah.
So it's
That's
definitely
really
crazy to
good.
think that, you know what I mean? Like, especially like I was just some fat kid sitting around eating Pop-Tarts and Twinkies and
Just
shit,
trying to get checks.
watching Judge Judy and Three Stooges or whatever, you know?
Hairstyling your hair.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I had a mohawk and Liberty Spikes. Yeah, I was a punk rocker. I still am.
Nice. So what's next, dude? What's next for both of you guys, actually? Whoever wants to
You
go
take a
first.
break, boo. Have some water, have some
I'm
water.
parched. I'm
Yeah,
parched.
she's parched, I can hear it.
Yep.
So as I mentioned earlier, my next physique competition is the Chicago Pro, which is July 6th, which means I'm gonna start my prep basically when we get home from the Arnold's. We're gonna go there, it's, you know, next month, and I'll have to like get my jollies in or
Oh, yeah, get your jollies off. Yeah.
yeah, my jollies.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that means. I had to
I
look it
know,
up and
I
show
know.
her.
I'd never heard that
I've
one.
never heard it. It's
Yeah,
like,
so I'll start contest prepping right basically when we get back. Although the weekend after the Arnold's, March 10th, is the throwdown at the compound,
Mhm.
put on by the USPA, and I'm doing bench only in that. Was gonna do deadlift as well, but I have knee problems also.
we decided to back off.
Yeah, it's just not, it's not worth it, you know, when you're afraid, you're not gonna be able to train hard,
Mhm.
and you're gonna end up getting hurt if you go into a lift like with that fear.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just better right now to not do it. I mean, unlike Steve, I'm not on the verge of, you know, setting or breaking any records. So
domination.
like where, you know, I gotta think just where are my priorities? You know, what am I gonna be better at? What, you know, and just what'll like satisfy me more, like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to focus more on your bodybuilding, the pro card. That's where you're, you know, that's what your bread and butter there versus
Yeah.
going
Something
and hurting
that-
yourself. Yeah.
yeah.
Doing for fun, you know.
Mhm. But I'm excited for that meet though, March 10th, and that's all I have lined up right now. We'll kind of see as time gets closer, you know, if I can make things happen, you know, money-wise, to get out for another show, because, you know, all that prep, you know, 16 weeks just to do one show, a lot of people would say, wow, is that really worth it, you know?
Mhm.
Instead, you can maybe stretch it out a little longer, get in, you know, 2, even 3 shows, all while wearing like the same posing suit too.
Yeah.
So you get your money's worth on that end as well.
Those are so
So,
expensive.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Mhm.
I mean, what was that one you were trying to get rid of? Was like a cheaper one too, wasn't it? One.
Oh yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, that was
From
still
somebody
like.
else.
I was like, man, you what? That much for that? Like, dude, I got old wrestling singlet from like high school.
Singlets,
Yeah,
where it's
they're,
at,
but,
yeah.
you know, they're
Or some people call it
handmade, hand
onesie.
sewn, all those jewels hand
Mhm.
glued. I mean,
Mhm.
I couldn't even imagine like the labor hours that go into those.
No,
And
yeah.
plus the demand is so high. They
Mhm.
know women,
Yeah.
they want it. They will pay
Yep.
for
Yeah,
it. Or they'll
good.
find, you know, you don't have to get $1,000 suit. The one I wore for the last 3 shows I did was custom made, and it was less than 300. So I mean, that's like,
Oh, that's not bad.
really
Your shopping
good.
and research, yeah.
yeah.
That's cheap
So
for
I found
that.
that, and I was very pleased with how that turned out, and even just like, you know, communicating between the suit maker, you know,
Yeah.
she was really great.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Steve? What's
Oh,
in the
man.
future?
I'm a busy guy right now.
Mhm.
I'll give you a rundown basically of the year as I know right now, but what's coming up, I guess the soonest would be the Arnold's. I'll be at the Arnold's. I'll be competing in the animal cage on Sunday, March 4th against actually a guy that's in the same weight class as me. He's coached by the same guy. His name's Josh Bryant that coaches us, but the athlete's name is Rob Hall, and we're going head to head in the cage, 600-pound deadlift for reps until one of us dies,
Oh, wow.
basically.
Yeah.
So
More of an
Um,
exhibition than
yeah,
a
it's
contest.
exhibition lift,
Yeah.
but it's the cage. If I know you guys do a lot of MMA stuff, it's not fighting.
Yeah, that's kind of
this-
cool though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but what's really cool is it's a chain link fence, and people are hanging on the cage. They have little bleachers and
People
stuff set
yelling in
up.
there too, right?
Oh yeah, oh it gets really hyped in
It
there.
gets
It's
really crowded around.
Like an
it.
underground fight scene almost.
exactly yeah, and it's actually kind of like revered as like if you get invited to do it, like you're really lucky. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a huge honor. It's
Sponsored by Animal.
by Animal or Universal Nutrition, which is a big supplement sponsor.
Yeah.
But Animal, they invited me to go against Rob, who's one of their athletes. So I'm going to kick his ass.
You guys see, you have to meet him now.
Yeah.
No,
This
sorry,
guy won't
Rob.
quit. We'll have to work on a little bit of your endurance, though.
Yeah, well, you saw me pass out, so, you know.
Practice on
I'll
the
go until I
microphone.
die. Yeah, just hold stuff, yeah. Well, I'll be at the Arnold's. I'll be making an appearance at the Slingshot booth Friday and Saturday, March 2nd and 3rd, as a guest there. Making an appearance at Powerhouse Columbus to do whatever.
Yeah.
I have a powerlifting meet. My first one of 2018 will be in June at the Chicago Fit Expo. That's where I plan on, you know, doing better than I did last August. So 2,300 pound total is what I'm trying to do. And then August, I got invited to only the top 3 lifters in each weight class got invited to this meet. It's a big money meet. It's a lot of money, $150,000. So,
Yes.
yeah, and I actually have a really good shot if everything comes together the way I want to win the entire thing.
Yeah.
So that's the goal because I need to fucking pay some bills.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
But that's in August, and I'll just be hanging out there. That's where I'm gonna try to do the 1,000-pound deadlift. Try to go over 2,400 pounds,
Yeah.
which would be by way of a 900-pound squat, a 600-pound bench, and a 1,000-pound deadlift. So,
That's insane.
yeah, that would really. I'm already on the map now, but that would really nail me in as like probably one of the greatest ones I've ever lived. So, I definitely want that title.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
for
amazing.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I'm doing a seminar in Florida, March 10th. Doing
Nice.
a deadlift only seminar. So I'm all over
Not
the
March
place.
10th, silly. That's
I'm
the
sorry,
girl with the
March like
compound.
23rd or 24th, I think it is. It's like 2 weeks after.
Sometime in March.
I don't have my schedule in front of
Yeah,
me. Where's my
yeah.
assistant?
Yeah.
I know, oh, sorry.
Assistant with your coffee.
Yeah.
So I just have one last question for you guys. Now, what is your long-term goal? Once with any professional athlete, you have to back off from the sport eventually. Do you have a long-term vision for that?
Yeah.
Coaching or?
Yeah, definitely coaching. So, like you said, I know at some point as an athlete, I can't last forever as an athlete, is to back off and focus on the coaching aspect of it, other athletes, hopefully pick up maybe some other elite athletes along the way,
Mhm.
to help grow my coaching business from there on, grow the gym a little bit more, and then probably do like some guest speaking and, some more seminars and stuff like that.
Podcasting.
Podcasting, yeah, I
You
love
still
it
have
actually.
yours going,
Yeah.
I listened to the one with both you guys because I didn't know who a couple of the other guests were, so that was
Okay.
fun. You guys like
Oh, where we
freestyled
just,
it?
yeah, that's all it is.
We were
is,
having fun. We were drinking beer and wine.
Yeah, I remember. That was good. I
We
liked it.
have a good time on there, like it's not really scripted at all, but typically we know our guests pretty well already.
Yeah.
A lot of them are other bigger names in the sport.
Yep.
And, we just fucking hang out, I make stupid jokes.
Yeah, but I mean,
You know?
you gotta do something you really like once you're done, like you said, with the sport,
Yeah.
when it's time to walk away and hang the
Yeah.
singlet up, now it's time, like you gotta
Yeah.
find something else, so that's
Well,
awesome.
the podcast too is actually, it's sponsored by a couple bigger companies, so I
Yeah.
get paid to do it.
That's what I mean. And
yeah,
it seems
so-
like you have fun with it, so.
Yeah, it's a great time, man. Who doesn't have a good time just sitting around bullshit?
Yeah, this is like the only way people talk anymore,
Yeah.
it seems like, right?
Yeah.
Where else would we have, like, blocked out an hour just to talk to strangers? you
Yeah,
know?
that's when you're like, we can talk, but we have to document this.
Yeah, right, yeah, everybody has to know, just in case you touch me or
Yeah.
whatever.
It's like I never left the jail. It's
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
being deposed right now.
Yeah.
Lights in your face.
Yeah.
What about you, Lauren, after you hang up the what do you call it?
Brawn
Posing
panties.
suit.
I was trying to think about that.
And I like your
Yeah.
gesture. You had this like delicate fingers. It's
Is
so
it a
small.
lacy? Maybe it's a lacy one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right? I want to ruin it.
Hang up your lace.
I think everyone would agree with this statement that bodybuilders can go, as a career much longer than
Yeah, than a
powerlifters.
powerlifter, definitely.
So,
Because
you
it's
know,
harder as a powerlifter.
yes, exactly. Yes, you are better than me. Okay. So I think I'll keep competing, but we joke about this, and my sisters hear this, they're gonna be like, "What? I can't believe you said that." Like, I think before I get too old, I might want to reproduce at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe breed some super freak athlete.
Oh,
So
man.
we're looking for a
Something.
candidate.
Yeah,
If
sure.
anybody's listening.
Stop
If
it.
you know a guy that's about over 300 pounds that that can deadlift close to 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Or are you mean looking for another, oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I don't know if you're looking for a
Yeah,
donor.
we'll take applications. I will get out very close soon.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, that's something that, you know, I think would be a smart move before it's impossible.
Sure.
And to, you know, I have a degree in exercise science, and I'm still having like a hard time trying to find like a career instead of just like all these like random jobs I have. So definitely like focus more on like having a sustainable career, so I could, you know, support said super freak baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
me.
they'll be eating a lot.
Because I don't want a sustainable career. I just want to do what I want.
I just want to live on the edge, right?
Yeah.
Whatever happens,
Yeah.
happens. Hey, fuck it, I'll make it work.
Yeah, just compete in bodybuilding until it's like really just either not fun or just isn't, you know, starts to just like fade out, you know, like
Yeah.
of my heart.
You
know,
have
Gotcha.
like big goals in bodybuilding at all? Like,
I mean, I did one pro show last year, and I'd like to right now I'd like to just place better, you know, every time. It'd be great to be top 3 or 5 so I can win some money.
yeah.
But as far as like going to the Olympia, no, I don't really see myself taking it to that extreme. I know, not personally, any of the women who competed at that level, but just from seeing them like online, you know, knowing what they go through and stuff, like it's too much. Like it's a
Yeah.
little too much for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like at 95%. If they're at 100, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So-
like you said, eventually if you're trying to, you know, reproduce and all that too, and that might take some of your attention away from the bodybuilding for a little bit too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
She
mean,
will be one jacked mom, that's for sure.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I'll be-
Are you doing the baby workouts, right?
Yeah, but I'll be in the gym until like the day of. Yeah,
Actually,
totally.
you were deadlifting up until like 3 days before we had the baby, right?
Not heavy,
Wow.
but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Not pretty
So,
light.
yeah, but you were.
and then
working
back
out
2 weeks
still.
later, or 1 week was it?
I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3. So yeah,
That's
you missed a couple weeks.
It's like she's
Yeah.
waking up now. So
Yeah.
Oh.
So-
Oh, baby's waking up. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There, yeah.
Did you have any other questions for these two?
No, I think we covered it all.
Okay. Anybody else? Are we good?
Aunt Nance.
What?
Yeah.
Aunt and uncle,
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
watching, beaming.
Other guests?
Hi, Aunt and Uncle are here, yeah.
They know the Steve
Yeah,
Johnson
My biggest
story
supporters
very
over
well.
the years.
Really? That's good.
definitely.
Good. Yeah. I mean, Rob talked you up,
I
and then I
know.
looked it up. I was like,
Like,
oh
yeah.
yeah, I've seen this
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
That'd
you
be
so
cool.
much. for
Yeah. No.
having
Yeah.
us.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
thank
coming
you for
out.
coming
Yeah. I
out.
appreciate it.
Absolutely, definitely, it's fun. I
Yeah.
like your studio setup, by the way,
Yeah,
too. I
it's
gotta get
great.
out my shit here.
In the barn, dude.
Yeah, yeah, it's even cooler,
It
yeah.
used
You
to be
never
like a
guess,
milk
right?
house or something, right?
Yeah. There's like goats in here, I guess. Before we,
Cows.
I've never had goats, or I
Yeah,
think
you have.
actually I did. But it
Like
didn't last very
froze
long.
in a
Hey,
yard.
wait, let's not.
And then-
Oh, shoot.
Here's what happened, okay?
Easy.
I couldn't get them to come inside the barn, and it was like negative 30 out, and I was like, all right, I'm done chasing you fuckers around. You're on your own. and then
And they really.
and then one
that
of them
was
died. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
That's so
Yep.
sad.
Sad story.
That is very sad.
Stupid goat.
It's a
Yeah, well-
terrible way to end
And
it.
even though-
I shouldn't have even brought it up.
Okay, so they can run, and there's a lot of property out there, and I was like, dude, it's too cold to be chasing you guys. Are you coming or no? They're, nope. So I was like, okay, fine.
No, we're not.
Okay, yep. Yeah, I'm like, all right, dude,
Did
fine.
you
I
eat
can't-
it?
Maybe you wanted to commit suicide.
Maybe.
No, I got one in, one stayed
Suicide
out.
note.
Oh, yeah.
That was it, man. So, yeah, thank you for the depressing story. We're ending on a low note. All right, man. Well, if anybody's looking for you guys on Instagram, if they don't follow you already, it's yours.
You can find me at Forsaken Warrior. My gym is Chicago Barbell Compound, and my podcast, Forsaken Warrior Podcast, on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud.
And I'm on Instagram at The Original Fit Girl. I'm on Facebook as well. You could just type in Lauren Quinn and find me there.
Sweet. Okay.
Nice.
All right, that's it. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, sweet.
Yay.
It was all happy and laughs until the
Yeah,
Until the goat died. How can you end with the
Hey.
goat? You should have let off
He
with
doesn't
that.
hear this, right?
Right, yeah.
I tried to like, you know.
You should have let
Yeah,
off with
really
the goat
took it on.
died.
Oh my god.
That's how you should have segued into it.
Do what?
That's the way you said segue would have been like, remember that time you killed animals?
Yeah.
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 It's like, no, dude, like, I tried my best. Like, if you'd have been out there and it was negative 30, you'd be like,
That's
all right,
true.
fuck this goat. I'm done with
Yeah,
them.
sorry,
Well, it's
Joe.
like a way of weeding out like the stupid. Like if you're
Yeah,
dumb,
there you go.
just come into the barn where it's warm.
You let the other ones know
Yeah.
you're not fucking around.
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, because, like, one of them, I got it, no problem. Like, come on, I only had 2, and I had a mule. And the mule was fine, came in, the
You
goat
had
came in.
roosters too, and all the neighbors
I
have
had
them.
chickens.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and there's a couple roosters, but they went to the neighbors, and then they come back during the day sometimes,
They chase you and,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
they're little assholes.
Are they big?
They're kinda scary. They got these like, have you ever seen them in
Talons
person?
or-
Their talons are
Yeah.
like crazy.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
And they'll just, they'll yell at you.
You just can't run, and they won't chase you.
That's
Oh my
funny.
gosh,
Dang.
awesome.
Oh, shoot, man.
Nice job, guys.
Yeah, thanks. So we're still new at this too, so I mean,
I
like.
thought you sound really like professional, very.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I thought you
You
were
have a
doing
good
this
voice,
for
Yeah,
us.
too.
he had a
The
shitload of
voice for
people on
it?
Instagram. When I was watching it, it was over 200.
Oh, really?
Between in and out.
217.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice. I don't know what here. I gotta eat one. So on Facebook though, I wasn't on.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you tag us at whatever or at Fit Farm Podcast, I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
like what I do with some of my when I post like new episodes. You might want to see.
I
this
saw
stuff.
some like, some
Face
funny
swaps?
thing. Yeah, the face,
I do
like.
face swaps. I don't know if
Yeah,
you guys
face
want to
swap.
be part of that, but I.
Sure.
But
Like,
so
Anybody.
Or we
Alright,
should get like a picture too,
Yeah,
maybe.
for sure.
Babe,
Yep.
us and us.
so I did Stranger Things last time. So there's me. This girl's like a holistic doctor. She was out here. And
I
then there's Jen.
wondered about that. I'm
Uh-huh.
like,
That's
because
good,
I
right?
haven't seen this show, even though like I know it's really.
This, my
Nice.
buddy.
It's funny.
So John Cena, you know, and then
Okay.
I did.
The Titanic one, that one
Titanic,
that
yeah,
stood
and
out.
then Shaw.
Hilarious, yeah.
We do them all the time. Then we did me and Jackie on the Last Action Hero, which isn't loading for some reason. It's this one.
Okay, that's funny. Yeah, no,
Dodgeball.
I love it. I'd love to
Nice.
be a face swap.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Well, yeah. We can go in here and do that. It's hot.
Yeah.
I actually bought jeans to change into as
Did
well. Yeah. So I'm not showing up in sweatpants, you know. I like to drive comfortably, that's why I.
Yeah.
And he was at the gym.
stuff in the corporate room.
Nice.
Really? Who'd you get to go to the table with you? Did you get a?
Well, oh, the bike table? No, it's
Yeah.
guys I work with and these two.
Nice.
Yeah, usually when Danny fights, guys
Yeah.
I work with, we bought 10. Oh, actually, with her now it's gonna be 11 tickets, and her friend might show up, it'll be 12.
Nice. Did you see Tony with the car or no?
No, the one down in Romeoville?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to. Well, Melissa fought too again. I work with her, Melissa's husband. The girl, yeah.
Yeah, from No Joke, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Tony's. I didn't see his fight, but
You want me to do the photos?
Sure. I didn't know they have to do it.
Put on mine, so I'll post stuff. When you release the episode, I'll post stuff on my Instagram.
Okay, yeah, I'll probably shoot you a message. I like to, like you said, build up the anticipation.
like her persona she's
Yeah.
pretty shattered.
Do I get between
We
you
can
two?
do, boy,
You
girl,
wanna do
boy, girl.
this?
Boy, girl. do the
Boys in
girl.
back, girls in front. Oh, what, girls on the end?
Wait, what are we doing?
That's-
Here we go.
I'm sorry if I'm swearing.
Oh, in your armpit level.
Yeah, yeah.
She's the Instagram. I take a bunch of them, so.
Sorry.
Actually, no, for,
I guess I should take my.
I tried
Oh, look at that. We gotta keep her in there.
They're always
See what else we got.
closed.
What happened?
Is there a better one? My eyes aren't closed.
Oh, gotta like Photoshop like a joint in there.
Yeah. Oh, that and then like one of those,
Again, why they close twice?
Oh, okay, redo.
That's all right. I might switch around.
I'm a big riser.
put a cholo hat on you.
So why are
Sunglasses.
the two dudes like the prettiest ones in these pictures? You guys are just like,
Whatever.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Okay. You can show off the kitties now, okay.
Oh, the kitties. I think he said the titties. But I started like, oh.
Alright.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Like, man, let's get this.
Okay, nice. And Rob, are you ready? I'm gonna just come this way. Ooh, nice. You wanna flex a little, Jackie? Oh,
Flex a little, sure.
I'll show them.
nice. Okay. Do you
Who
have
let the dog go? Oh.
Did I
Let's
do
see.
something?
No, I was gonna check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you see that there? Oh, yeah, we'll do it there.
So I come out here, make it right.
Really? Come on. Both of them.
I
don't know. It's something, it's a disease.
I wonder if it's
That's better than that.
I don't know.
There should be
This
one
guy.
without it.
There we go, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, my gosh.
Like 15 pictures like
No,
that.
I always, at least, when I was a little
Lauren,
kid, I was always crying.
That's better.
That was a good interview.
Yeah, that was fun. I try not to like ask the same, but it's hard not because you've done so many interviews and podcasts already. pretty much answered every question.
Just saying,
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
That's like,
No, it was good, I
We
like
talked
it.
more of like the MMA stuff, like most people who know like the Forsaken Warrior story, it happened like after you got
After
the
all that,
injury
yes.
and.
So they start right there, right?
Yeah, where you got a little bit of like before.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the fight card he was on for XFO 13, Jason Guida.
Mhm.
And he got knocked out by Terry Martin,
Martin.
knocked him out. And then that's the one that Clay Guida jumped over, and then Terry Martin attacked Clay Guida in the ring.
Started punching at.
Yeah, that was a big deal in the MMA world. That was the card he was on.
Bob Shermer fought that night. too.
Yeah, Bob Sherman got knocked the fuck out.
That's crazy.
And then when he fought, and he gave that guy the Dr. Stoppage, what's his name? The guy from Indiana, the Hispanic guy.
Jay Estrada?
No, Jay Estrada fought that night too, but he went on to be pound for pound best fighter in the UFC.
The one that we got pictures
Oh,
of.
Big L Torres.
Miguel Torres fought that night too. Yeah.
He bought us a shot.
Yeah, he bought it. We were at Anagami.
Miguel
I
Torres.
was walking with him, I was like, he's like,
He's like,
that's
yeah,
all.
no,
He's like,
14 years old.
you've been a fan of me from the beginning, and we were up in the bar, and he said, buy us shots also.
That's
This guy bought us shots of tequila, man.
Nice.
Dang.
Okay, that was badass.
That was back in the day.
He started to scare me.
What do you go?
Miguel Torres, he gets intense pretty strong.
Oh, yeah. Well, those dudes that fight for a living, like, that's the first thing they go to all the time, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, someone wants to start some shit, like,
No, he wasn't mad, he was just getting,
Oh.
like, just getting, he didn't want to fight, it was just like, I was like, what is
He was intense.
He was getting intense,
Yeah.
but he was the coolest pal.
He's hyping himself up, telling his own story.
No, he wasn't, we're talking,
Oh.
we're talking about his school and how he teaches and all this
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
He's there supporting his students.
Got the camera on still, let me shut that off.
All right.